Hey guys, how's it going? It's Sped here. I've got another lesson for you today. This time it's The Boys Are Back in Town by Thin Lizzy. The original was played in E-flat tuning, but I'm doing it in standard. Hope that's not a problem. Just means you don't have to mess around as much tuning down, which might be useful if you're a beginner. I'm not saying that my version is the best way to play it, but it sounds cool, it's fun to play. Go learn it and have fun. So to begin with, I'll give you the 3 power chords that we're going to use before I give you the little riff in the middle. We have first finger on the 4th fret of the E, 3rd and 4th fingers on the 6th fret of the A and the D. Okay, you're going to move that up 2 frets to the 6th fret and then slide that up to the 9th fret. And you can practice moving them around. So it has this push feel to it, where you're going to play slightly before the next bar starts. So you're going to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2. And then it goes back to the first power chord again with that same push. The little riff in the middle is taking your first finger to the 6th fret of the A, then 3rd finger on the 8th fret. You're going to hit that 6th fret once and then the 8th fret 3 times. Back to the 6, down to the 8 on the low E, and back to the 6 on the A. A lot of people go back to the 8 there. I just hear it as going to the 6th fret twice. Okay. I think maybe Phil did that in the bass. That kind of thing, so maybe that's why people get confused. But yeah, so that goes together like this. So when you listen to the verse, you should hear 2 guitars playing similar things in similar areas of the guitar, which can sometimes be hard to break down. I hear one guitarist doing these sort of full bar chords, and then I figured maybe on top of that you've got someone kind of doing different inversions slightly higher. So what I'm going to show you is what I play. Don't quote me on it being exactly what's on the track, but it works and it sounded good if you check out my cover. I'm going to run through each shape individually and then we're going to go through it and talk about the rhythm. So you've got that power chord on the 4th fret of the E to begin with. Okay. Then we have our first finger on the 3rd fret of the G, 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the E, and 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the B. This is a D major shape, but moved up a fret. Okay. Then we take our 3rd finger to the 6th fret of the G, 4th finger to the 6th fret of the B, 1st finger to the 4th fret of the E. Again, you could say that's come from like a D flat major. Okay. Then from there, you can just take your 4th finger off, bring your 3rd finger down a string, so that's now on the 6th fret of the B, and put your 2nd finger on the 5th fret of the G. Okay? That's basically like playing a D minor chord, but you've moved it up to the position of F. okay, it would go back to that D shape, back to that D minor shape, and then I bar the 6th fret of the D, the G and the B with the index finger, okay, and then I do the same notes, but I do like a D major shape like we did before, moved back 1 fret, okay, and the reason I do that is just one guitarist moves from here up here, so I figured if I start here and move down here, you get that difference in tone because the string's being thinner. Let's go through the rhythm now. First chord, single downstroke. Second chord, we're going to go down, up. On that down there, I bring the finger pressure off to get a slight mute. Okay. Then I do up, down, up. It might take you a while to get used to that down mute, but it tidies things up and it's really useful. Now we're going to move on to the next chord and talk about this repetitive rhythm that starts to happen. Kind of mimics what went on in the intro with that whole pushing before the beat. So what you're going to do is strum 1 and 2 and 3 and do an upstroke on the and before 4. Okay, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And on the and before the 1, you're going to go to that next chord, the D minor shape. Okay, so and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then you'll move through the chords accordingly. Okay, so again one more time, that was 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, I'm going to play the whole thing slow now so you can see how that works. So every time the verse does its second repeat, there's a chord change in the middle. Instead of doing that D minor shape way up here in the position of F, we're going to take the D major shape, but move it up 2 frets. So we're now in the position of E, okay? So it's exactly the same rhythm. It's just a direct swap from that to this. So you should now be able to do this part straight away because it's combining the power chords you learned in the introduction with that kind of pushed rhythm we just did in the verse. So to begin with, you're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay? It has that same upstroke on the and before the 4 and then in on the and before the 1 for the next chord. You're going to repeat that 3 times before it goes into the harmonizing little guitar solo. In the middle of the second verse, when it's about to repeat, you've got this cool little lick. It's like a little fill. It's really cool. You're going to take your first finger on the D, fret 1, play it twice, and then hammer the third finger down to the 3rd fret. Okay? Then you're going to put your first finger on the G, fret 1. Take the third finger to the third fret of the G. Okay. Bend it up and down in one smooth motion and then pull off back to the first finger. Okay. Then you're going to go back to the third fret of the D and then the first fret. Okay. Before finishing on the first fret of the G. And that's an A flat, same as the power chord you would have been playing there. So after that, you can jump straight to your second chord, which was that D major shape moved up, and go straight back into your chords, okay? So we're going to start by coming to the 6th fret of the D with the second finger. You're going to hit it twice. Hammer on the little finger to the 8th fret. Okay. Then come up to the 5th fret of the G with the index finger. You're going to hit that twice. If you can, try and give it a little bit of vibrato when you get there. You want to make that note sing a little bit. And then come back down to the 6th fret of the D with the second finger. Okay, that is basically all you're going to need to learn, but we're just going to change a few of the notes on the different repeats. By the way, if you want to do this with your first and third fingers, that's also fine as well. I just do it like this because it spaces them out. So the first time, and the second time, the same. On the third time, instead of hitting that 5 on the G twice, we're going to go up to the 8 on the G with the little finger. Okay? It's good practice to use your fourth finger there because you're going to practice using vibrato. Okay? Then back down to the second finger on the 6th fret of the D. So first time and second time. The fourth time starts the same. Then we're going to take our second finger to the 6th fret of the G, triplets, back down to the 5, and then the 8 on the D with the fourth finger. Okay? And then you start the whole thing again. So. So let's assume that you've absolutely nailed that rhythm. If you want to do the low harmony, I'll show you those notes now, but talk a little bit less about the rhythm because it's the same. 6th fret of the A to the 8th fret, then up to the 6th fret of the D. Okay, back to the 6 on the A. Same again. The higher note you'll grab this time is the 8th fret of the D. And then for the triplets, 8 on the D, back to the 6, and then the 8 on the A. So one round of the low harmony would go like this. The very last time before you go back into the verse, it goes like this at the end. So it starts the same. Then when you go to the 8th fret, you're going to bend it up, down, okay? Come back to the 6 on the D, 8 on the A, 8 on the E, 6 on the E, 4 on the E. Power chord, okay? So for this middle section, you're going to start with your index finger on the 4th fret of the D, 3rd finger on the 6th fret of the G, and your 4th finger on the 7th fret of the B. It is a power chord, but shaped slightly different because of the tuning of the B string. We've got to bring this up a fret, okay? Next shape after that you're going to need is taking your 4th finger back 1 fret and dropping the index finger down to the 4th fret of the A. Then you're going to want to mute the D string with the underside of the index finger. The rhythm for the first chord is going to be triplets with the right hand, alternating between down and up, and I alternate my accent between down and up as well, so you get this kind of feel. Accenting is just where you put more emphasis on one of the strokes. Okay, gives it more structure. For the next chord, it's the same, except we stop a little bit sooner. You could say after 1 accent each direction, we're then going to go to 3 downstrokes. Okay. After that, we've got some shapes from the verse. So that D major shape moved up to the 3rd and 4th frets. The D minor shape moved up to 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Then when we go to the 6th fret barred, like we did before, got a new little bit. We're going to add the 4th finger to the 9th fret of the B and do a down and then a quick up. So together it works like this. And you come back down here to the same D major shape but frets 1 and 2. Okay? So all together. Next thing we're going to hit power chord down on the 1st fret of the E. After you've played that F power chord and let it ring out, okay, we're going to alternate between the notes on the D and the A string of that chord. And you're going to do 3 on each with that same sort of triplet feel. I don't like picking it any other way than starting on an up, so I go up, down, up, down, up, down. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. That's the only way for me that I found I could get clear changes between the strings without being messy and still get the palm muting. So as soon as you've done that, you're going to go straight back to here. Go through it all again. At the end, I don't think it does this again, but I did it on my cover because I liked it. So when you get back to that F, you can just go straight back to your verse and let that F power chord sustain. You'll notice in that final chorus that it does 4 repeats instead of the usual 3 before it goes to the solo in the middle. And there's this tiny little fill riff, but it's so cool. It's so simple but effective. So it dies down on the 3rd and 4th repeats. As soon as you get to that last chord, you're going to go to the 6th fret of the A and hammer on to the 8 with the 3rd finger, but you want to make sure you're palm muting. Okay? And then do an upstroke on the 6th fret of the D with the 1st finger. Okay? So dynamics have dropped. So this last part's going to be really easy to learn. Obviously, with it being a harmonizing guitar line, both parts have the same rhythm. It's just a case of learning 2 different sets of notes. So let's start with the higher line first. You're going to be up on the 8th fret of the G, then down to the 5. Okay. Then you're going to hit the 5 again, followed by the 6 and the 8. Finish on the 6th fret of the D with the index finger. Okay, then you do those same 4 notes again. Hit the 6 again and move up to the 8. Okay, so together it was 8 on the G, 5, 5, 6, 8, 6 on the D, 5, 6, 8 again, 6 on the D, hit it again, then the 8 on the D. The lower one starts on the 5th fret of the G to the 6th fret of the D. Then we come back to the 4th fret before moving back up to the G, frets 1 and 3. And then the 3rd fret of the D this time to finish. Okay. Obviously it repeats like the other one did. And then for your final 2 notes, we're going to do a power chord this time. 4th fret of the A, 6th fret of the D. And then move it up 2 frets. Okay, so that second one recapped. 5 on the G, 6 on the D, 4 on the D, 1, 3 on the G, 3 on the D. Same again. Power chord on the 4th fret of the A. Move it up 2 frets. Then you're into the harmonizing licks that we did before, all the way to the end of the song. Now obviously if you've done the lower solo, you're going to probably go into the lower harmony. If you've done the higher one, into the higher one. Alright guys, thanks very much for choosing to learn this tune with me today. I hope you had fun. I hope you got all the parts down. If you like learning, don't forget to hit subscribe, drop a like on the video, and leave me a comment, share it with your friends. Peace. See you in the next one.